The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone can hear me. Thank you for joining us for the next Digital Business Kit webinar of our series with the National Retail Association. If you've tuned in before, you will know that the idea behind these webinars is that they are built by retailers for retailers. So each month we encourage you to contact us with your questions and queries on hot retail topics, and then we'll build these short, sharp and engaging lunch break webinars. So we're aiming to keep to a kind of 20-minute maximum time to answer your questions and provide practical implementation tips. So let's get going on this month's topic, improving your retail sales, and a focus on store staff in particular. My name's Vicky. I am from Retail Doctor Group, as you know, and my details are on the screen now. So do get in touch via email or Twitter to submit your questions and ideas for our future webinar topics, and also to find out more about the information we discuss today. So after our last webinar, which was on personalization last month, we called for you to decide this next topic. And from all the ideas that were submitted, there was definitely one recurring theme, and that was making the most of your staff. So when it comes to retail, it's obvious your store staff are a vital component to delivering new types of value by matching the customer problem with the solution and helping to promote the whole brand experience. Obviously, many retailers, make the mistake of seeing staff solely as an expense, but they're so important to, boosting your sales, being brand ambassadors, and hopefully today we'll change this mindset, because with the right employees and the right training, your staff are your greatest asset and one of the most important investments for your organization. As consumers demand more inspiring shopping experiences, and we see our retail stores transform from more than just stores, but to social hubs and part of this omni-channel purchase journey, your store staff are one of your most powerful weapons. So not only do they help build genuine human-to-human relationships with your customers, which customers are definitely craving in this huge digital society these days, but our research tells us that engaged, motivated staff deliver an average 20% higher sales and margin improvement to the fitness of your business. So the big question is, are you truly maximizing the shoppers who come into your store? We hate to say it, but probably not. We are finding today that clients that are coming to us aren't necessarily coming for guidance on increasing footfall, but focusing more on maximizing the sales opportunity once the customer is in store and ensuring that the customer becomes a customer for life. So many retailers we are finding are getting distracted by the process of attracting new customers through marketing and promotion, that they're forgetting to invest in the vital process of converting a high value sale and developing a loyal returning customer. We see that it costs 6 times more to attract a new customer than to keep an old one. And we also see that loyal customers are up to 10 times more profitable for your business. So it becomes extremely clear just how important this topic is. From selling add-on products to ensuring you're creating a single transaction not just creating, a single transaction customer, but a loyal returning customer. Because at the end of the day, when your customers leave with only one item and perhaps not everything they need, a competitor will be getting that additional business and a chance to make that customer loyal to them when it should have been ours. So when it comes to boosting your retail sales, which I believe is probably why most of you are here, seeing as that's the topic of this month's webinar, it becomes clear the importance of retail training. So what can we do? As we've just mentioned, the goal is to continuously and routinely build higher per ticket sales. This means for us as a retailer, even in periods of low footfall and seasonal downturns, we can still meet our sales goals. And then when footfall is high, those higher per ticket averages are directly boosting our bottom line. Yet we need to do this while seamlessly delivering a genuine, high-value shopping experience for your customer that this customer craves from the bricks and mortar experience. So let's get to the how do we make this happen. So joining me in today's webinar is one of our partners from the Retail Doctor Group Effective People program, Chantal Harris, who's the director of the retail training online platform, Redseed. So we work in partnership with Redseed to provide our clients with effective cloud-based training solutions to increase the fitness and profitability of retail channels. So Chantal, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, perfect.
How are you?
Good, thank you. So Chantal's here, and we're going to talk through a couple of the questions that you've submitted on this topic of staff and maximizing your sales opportunities. So let's get started with some of these questions. Obviously, we are trying to keep to 20 minutes, so we will see what we can cover. So firstly, I suppose, Chantal, I'll pose this question to you. What are the most common problems you're coming across in this year, 2016, when it comes to converting the sales in store? What kind of questions are retailers raising?
Well, mainly it's, where there's a retail chain, certain stores aren't converting, some are, so a couple of stores are pulling the rest of the brand down. But generally it's, when you really look at it, it's the staff lacking the confidence to actually engage with the customer through the whole sales process, right from beginning to end, from, greeting to actually converting and closing the sale. So, and also other main problems that have come through is the lack of consistency of training across the brand.
Yeah, definitely. So I suppose, the answer to these issues is obviously investing in people and your staff and training your staff to maximize the opportunities. So we know that Redseed is an online training platform and that we've seen work so well for so many of our clients. But what for the people that are listening today, what are the advantages of this methodology over, traditional face-to-face training?
Well, the main few key points is it's easy to use for staff. It's instant access. They can access it 24/7. Staff these days are very well connected. They want to be able to access things when they want to and how they want to. It's very cost effective. You're getting across a lot of different stores, whether you're national or global. That in turn transfers into a consistency of training and delivery of the brand. So you know that, a person in one store in one state is getting exactly the same consistent training as somebody else, even in another country. So it saves time and it's just the consistency of getting as much training as you can done when you want it. Face-to-face, sometimes it's hard logistically to get around to everybody. But and you see short-term results with motivational peaks when that training's been delivered, whereas online it's a constant motivation throughout the whole course.
Yeah, completely makes sense. So one question we had from one of the members of the National Retail Association community was obviously the impact that we're seeing on a retailer's bottom line by investing in retail training of their staff. So have you got a couple of examples that you could pick up of case studies where you've seen significant return on investment by investing in your staff?
Absolutely. I mean, all our clients that we've worked with have seen an increase in their sales, but not only their sales, also their staff engagement and their staff retention, which is a hard thing to actually measure, but it is a very cost-effective, really affects your bottom dollar. So, for example, one of our clients is in the stationery sector. They have about 65 stores, about 2,500 staff, and they've seen same-store sales growth for 20 quarters, which is fantastic. But we recently did a survey of all our users and people who use our platform, and 85% of the store managers that we surveyed had reported that they had a significant increase in their sales in their store, which is fantastic.
That is, really huge. So one question that may be on everyone's minds is how do you ensure that with an online training platform, it's tailored to your unique strategy and your unique customers?
Well, we work closely with the client. We just don't sell training in a box. We actually work really closely with the client to ensure that our system is covering their specific needs. We customise it to that retailer using their language, their jargon, and what works for them. We also are differentiated by the fact that we have a coaching feedback. So whoever that staff member reports to, whether it's a trainer or a store manager, is actually their coach, and will give them feedback via the online system, and also obviously in store, to ensure that their staff member has the confidence to use the skills while they are learning. So we also make sure that we, with the business that we're working with, that we really work with what their pain points are and highlight them and address them, and finding out what their real needs are. But our videos are a mixture of a generic video footage as well as actually tailored footage, which is actually filmed in their store. So when the user is using them, they really can relate to it and understand how that will work in their store.
Yes, I think that's a really good point to pick up on, the importance of tailoring your retail training to your unique staff and your unique store space, and also to your brand. And I think we'll get to that in probably the next question, because I'm going to talk now about, something to action right here, right now. That's what we want ultimately from this webinar. So let's discuss some practical top tips to implement. So let's think, if we're a retailer tuning in, wanting a couple of takeaways to boost engagement and conversion this week in our retail stores, where do we begin? So do you want to go first with that? Where do you want to begin?
Sure. I think it's just about, really just getting back to basics.
Yeah. So we're talking about, personal presentation, grooming, being approachable and engaging, body language, all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
And then
it's about getting your staff. Sorry.
You go for it.
It's about getting your staff engaged about the training, getting them excited about it.
Yeah, definitely. That's a really good point, actually, because we've seen in a survey that we use quite a lot when we're doing our Effective People program. We always bring back this survey. I'll just get it up on screen now. It was conducted by Seek a few years ago, about what motivates your staff. And what's really interesting about this data is that salary and incentives are a key motivator when you're obviously looking for a job. However, recognition and appreciation become much more important when looking to retain your staff. So I suppose the question to ask is, are you benchmarking their performance? Are you communicating their successes both on the shop floor and at management level? And I think it's really important to highlight, you need to increase your encouragement and support of your retail staff to get the most out of them.
Absolutely. It's ensuring your team are confident when approaching your customers, and that they have the skills to capitalise on every sales interaction. This can result in dramatic changes to your profitability. The other key things are, making the training easy to digest. Like we know with facts and figures that visuals are much easier to learn than just text alone. Little chunks of training, but often, we can't really retain more than 30 to 45 minutes of knowledge at a time without it sinking in. And communicate about the training. When, where, how.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's really important to pick up on the idea of, you need to make sure that everyone within your retail business is on the same page, from management down to the store staff, and everyone be aware that the customer, the importance of the bricks and mortar experience, with experience being the key word here, being so important to the customer. So with our Effective People program at Retail Doctor Group, we do pick up on 7 key things to remember. So I'll just bring them up now. So celebrate success. Tell your team what they're doing right, not what they're doing wrong. So keeping positive, rewarding your staff for high achievement with prizes for sales, average sale, items per sale, and conversion rates, for example. 2 is communicate. Make it clear that you have an open door policy and welcome your team to come to you with any problems or concerns. 3, lead by example. Now, I always think of Guy Russo, CEO of Kmart and Target, when I talk about this point, because he constantly is visiting stores, speaking to customers and staff, and being there, like, in the coalface, which is not only great for him to learn about the customer, but to get an appreciation for the staff, to boost morale. And I think he's a really great leader in this area. So it's all about creating that positive feel. Everyone's on the same page. Everyone's going for the same goals. And ultimately empowering your staff. Staff who are given responsibility will step up to the mark. So you want to keep them trained and informed to empower them to make decisions on the shop floor, and promote continuous improvement. So staff training should be an ongoing process, linked to individual and team KPIs and measured by sales results. So this training should be continually measured by processes like customer feedback and mystery shopping audits, which I think we'll come to in another question in a minute. So coaching your staff is key to improvement and helping them grow within your business, so that they're getting something from it as well, and you're all going to grow together and lift this cycle of continual improvement. And then, of course, the last point that we always touch on is have fun. If your staff are engaged and having fun and enjoying the retail experience, then ultimately this will come through to your customer experience as well. So next question is a question from Steve. I think you might be with us, Steve, from Wildcards and Gifts. Now, you asked a question about cost-effective marketing ideas, and I think it's a really good idea to bring that within this context. And acknowledge the importance of aligning your training with your marketing. Do you think, Chantal?
Yes, I think it's just part of the product knowledge of not only the what you're selling, but about your campaigns. They need to be aware of them, what the promotions are, and to be a face of the brand.
Yeah, absolutely.
They need to speak it, live it, breathe it. If your staff are passionate about the brand, it's a message, and if they live and breathe it, they will act as natural brand ambassadors and deliver a convincing and genuine experience for the customer, and that's just so powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. And I always think of the example of Sneaker Boy, the shoe retailer, omnichannel shoe retailer in Melbourne and Sydney, when I think of this area. And when Chris Kavitos of Sneaker Boy spoke at a recent Retail Doctor Group conference, he really highlighted the fact that his store staff are the customer at the end of the day. And so they are on the same page as the customer. They are actively involved. They, get their phone out on the shop floor if they can, show new product lines that are about to launch. And they're passionate about, the product and the brand. And they engage with the customer on an equal level. So I think it's a really good idea to keep the promotions and the campaigns, and you'll ultimately have your staff as your brand ambassadors to promote that. So next question, as we are fast running out of time, how do you measure investment into staff training? So obviously you'd hope you'd see conversion in sales, and here at Retail Doctor Group, we do encourage our retailers to invest in gauging unique consumer insights through mystery shopping or customer insights program. Chantal, do you have any other measures that you'd pick up on?
Yes, staff retention. If your staff are engaged and they're feeling like they're getting actual attention and training, they'll be engaged, and that's definitely a measurement of that your staff are staying with you, as well as succession planning internally. Are they being promoted?
Yeah.
Are they learning within the business and sort of getting to that next stage? Yeah. There's also the measure of staff engagement, which a lot of big retailers are starting to see the value of actually measuring. Big retailers like Super Retail Group, Spotlight Retail Group, they're actually doing yearly surveys now, measuring their staff engagement and looking at the results of that and how they can improve that.
Yeah, great. Well, we are actually bang on time of 20 minutes. It has been a whistle-stop tour through retail training and how you can get the most out of your retail staff. So This webinar will be up on nradigitalkits.com within the next 24 to 48 hours. And we do encourage you to watch back, share this webinar with others. Do contact us to find out more about investing in your store staff and how it can boost your retail sales. Our details are on the screen now. And do let me know any feedback you have and any desires for future topics for future webinars by getting in touch, vicky@retaildoctor.com.au. Perfect. Thanks, Chantel, for joining us, and thanks everyone for tuning in, and we will see you again next month. Thanks.